Hello and welcome to today's video. It's coming to you again from Petone Beach in Wellington, possibly one of my last videos in Wellington for a while. I'm probably going to start on the road again. My gypsy heart is calling me. Today I'm going to dive straight into today's topic. It's kind of a big one for me, and I'm going to title it Books. But really what I am talking about is knowledge and how knowledge has impacted me and ultimately led me to where I am today. So I had I guess you call it a standard education in a way, but university, accounting degree, and of course reading a lot of books. We didn't have the internet really in those days for sure. And got into work, and work was good, had a good career really, or good work from the perspective of where I was at. But there came a stage, perhaps in my early to mid-20s, where I wasn't happy, so deep down I was kind of sad really, I was depressed. And I was triggered to think, well, there must be other ways of looking at life, and surely the education that I'd learnt, or the things that I had learnt through my education and other things, wasn't the only one way. And I was prompted to start looking at buying books. I started buying books relating to perhaps finance, but from a slightly alternative perspective, meaning what lay deep down in the finance world and what made people financially successful. But I was also triggered to start looking at books of a esoteric, spiritual nature. I think it'd probably be classified as kind of the New Age kind of genre of books, which I think on reflection is quite interesting. New Age. I was finding in those books, again on reflection, that those books contained a lot of information that came from the past, from perhaps older civilizations and the ancient past, and perhaps the classification more appropriately would be old age books. Anyway, I started buying some books, and there was, I guess what I was, at the time I was a seeker, and just jumping a little bit ahead in life, well, quite a way ahead. So in 2017, after my epiphany in terms of getting off methamphetamine, 1 week later I was attending a spiritual retreat in the Coromandel Peninsula in New Zealand, and it was there that I had my first intense experiences of some of the things that I had read about and had brief experiences of before, but it was a 1 week course, so to speak, and I was experiencing earth energies and meditations and walking the labyrinth and meeting people who were way more advanced spiritually than I was. At the end of that particular week, I kind of worked out what I was, and I probably suggest we can all be, but I worked out that I was one of, I was a combination of three things. One of them was that I was a holder of the light. And I use that still to this day. You'll see in my symbology and my talking about a guru situation, being the holder of the light. Effectively, they're a holder of the light because they are a dispeller of darkness. And that only came to me within the last few weeks. The fact that I had been my own guru, I had dispelled a lot of my darkness over a long period of time, leaving the light. So previously I was probably looking for light, going to the light, looking outside of myself in a way, and I think when I was getting into reading books, I was looking outside for my inspiration outside of me, and getting into the book situation, I got to a stage where I became a very intense reader, in the sense that I was reading a lot of books, and some weeks I was sort of doing the sort of two to three books kind of reading per week. And I guess I was absorbing theoretical knowledge at that time. And one thing I'll just say in summary about all that reading, went on for a long time and kind of still does to this day, was what I was absorbing, particularly in respect of spiritual New Age matters, esoteric matters was that it was interesting and seemed to be possible, but at that time I found it quite confusing. There was just so many different elements and things that were being talked about from different ages and going way back to the potential beginning of the universe kind of thing, and I was kind of trying to work out how that all fitted in together. Anyway, I persevered, and shall we say that as a result of all that knowledge, the internal theoretical knowledge, which at the time was quite confusing, it actually ended up when, of recent years, everything is no longer confusing. It's actually quite simple. And that's an interesting place to be. Everything is simple, everything is clear, everything has come together in a unified theory, so to speak, or it's actually more than a theory, it's an actual way of being. It's all come together. Right, so I'll just talk about perhaps some of the books. I mean, there's hundreds upon hundreds of books that I read, and I'll talk about some of the most significant ones and what I sort of got from it at the time, and how these things that I got from those books now all just come to the fore automatically. One of the first books I remember reading, and I read it a number of times, was quite a well-known book from the 1930s approximately, a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill had studied the successful people of the time, so the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, J. Pierpont Morgan, all of these people he'd studied, and he was looking for the traits of these people that, what made them successful. And successful financially, I guess, was, the title of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And a lot of things are in there, and some of the things that really stand out, there's a quote in one of the chapters, that persistence is omnipotent. Persistence is omnipotent. So almost putting it at one of the most paramount traits of the personalities is that keep going. It's the do not give up. If you're on the right path, persist. I introduced you to one of my travel companions, a little meerkat the other day, Mr. Perseverance, which relates very closely to persistence. Another of the topics that he spoke about was that a lot of these successful people appeared to have opened up to what he called the infinite intelligence. So the infinite intelligence that he's talking about is opening up to the universe. So we can go a step further and perhaps suggest that these people had tuned into the universe and were drawing their knowledge and applying it back down on the material plane, so to speak, or the physical plane, or back on their day-to-day life, that led to them effectively being very successful in their chosen fields. So I'm getting things from books like Think and Grow Rich, and I'm absorbing it. To read it so many times, one cannot but help absorb. Another early book that I picked up on, I was walking around a bookshop that I actually worked in at the time, and we had a book on sale called The Instant Millionaire by Mark Fisher. And I did allude to this I allude to this book in my writings, and I also basically took some other stuff from it that I'll just briefly talk about here. So The Instant Millionaire, again, it sounds like a book about money, and certainly it kind of was, but it was actually more about the spiritual world, actually, and your mind. And two of the really distinct things that pop out of that, separate to what I've spoken about already. One was the quote, "Be still and know that I am God." So that is really saying to meditate. In that meditation, you can get the things that I have spoken about. You can get the access to what will assist you. Another thing that really helped me at the time, I was deeply depressed actually, and I was getting assistance outside of my day-to-day life in terms of going to see doctors and getting some counselling. And one of the things that I read in there was with regards a French physician. His name was Emile Coué, dating back to I think the early 1900s. And what he was a doctor, so an actual medical doctor, but he also treated his patients by way of getting them to speak about daily affirmations. And the daily affirmation that he had them speak about was every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better. And I applied that in my life. So every day in every way I'm getting better and better. And that I was saying that aloud, so speaking it out to myself on my daily drives to work, which was actually sort of a 30+ minute drive. And what I was doing was programming my subconscious to effectively fill it with so much stuff that when I drew on my subconscious, perhaps that was the first thing that came to mind, that I was actually getting better. And it definitely helped me at the time. So I'm having these experiences out of this knowledge that I'm gaining is actually helping me. But it's only helping me in the sense that I'm having these one-off experiences, and I'm not bringing it together in a unified theory at that stage, not at all really. And the third book from the time that I will speak about is a book called Bring Out the Magic of Your Mind. This book was by a British mentalist, so like a magician, but more dealing with the mentalist type of magic. His name was G.U.R.U. That was his stage name. But of course, as I've spoken about, you can be whoever you want to be, and he was really well regarded in terms of his ability to draw on things in a mentalist kind of way. And that book again had a major impact on me. I read that a number of times, and he was talking about concepts about belief and meditation. He was talking about colours. Again, I'm wearing colours today that attune or align with my being. I've got a purple shirt on today with some white specks on it effectively. And at the time I bought that 3 or so years ago, I didn't consciously buy it, but now I see why I bought it. So the purple of the higher realm, sort of almost the crown chakra, and the white of the light shining through it. I'm wearing again my blue buff, which represents the universe. I've got a jacket on which has a lot of colour and symbolism in it, so he talked about symbolism. He was talking about sort of Eastern religious practices, so he was bringing it all together. So the cover of the book was the lotus flower. So that book was full of stuff that at the time, so again talking 30 years ago, kind of made sense to me, but from the theoretical perspective. So I just might move forward into how all that knowledge perhaps finally manifested. When I finally experienced the Gnosis, or in terms of that Gnostic word that I use in my symbolism, so the Gnosis is the experiences of all of these things. It was at that stage that I knew deep down in my soul that access to the universe is available to all. I was fortunate that I'd got on the path, and it took a long time to get to that stage where I had just so many different things influence me. So I'm talking about so many things, the magic, the reading, the meditations, the people I have met, everything came together. And it came together in the sense that I now have a clear, unified understanding of how the universe works. I don't understand everything about the universe, no, it's never going to happen, but that's all part of this ongoing seeking. So being a seeker of the knowledge, I'm still a seeker of the knowledge. I I think I'll probably sum it up all about there. I did think of one thing actually about this whole universe and this ability to get information, and it all comes flowing through. And you know, sometimes people say, well, if you can channel stuff, why don't you go and ask for the lotto numbers or the lottery numbers? And it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. The way it works is that much like ayahuasca, we were told that it won't give you what you want, but it will give you what you need. So effectively, you need to let just whatever comes your way to come your way, and then apply it in life. To go out and ask for the lotto numbers, I think you're sort of trying to flip that around and force the universe to give you something that you believe you need. But believe me, the universe knows what you need. I've just ended up by summing up. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff to get to where I am. This wasn't easy, but now it's easy. And just tying in all of that, being a holder of the light, a carrier of the gold, so that's carrier of stuff within inside me, the stuff I'm talking about, the knowledge, and also a seeker of the knowledge. I wrote a little quote for myself some time ago actually, and I'll read it out, and it is: the holders of the light, the carriers of the gold, the seekers of the knowledge pay a huge price for their enlightenment, a large ransom for their freedom. However, once they have paid their dues, they must savour the moment forevermore. And that is exactly what I do. I'm savouring the moment forevermore, and I'm so grateful. So I'll say to you, thank you for listening. We'll see you again soon. Enjoy the journey. We will meet when we should, and namaste.